Welcome back to Retro Wednesday at the Tide Terry Hangar. This is Mike, and today I'm going to talk to you about Toy Island Video Squad and Toy Island Voice Squad. Now, this is a company that made lower end, lower price point toys. I'm highly impressed what they were able to do with a low price point toy line in the early 90s, based off of 80s franchises. Yes, people say they're knockoffs. I don't think they're really knockoffs. We're going to get into history about this company, why they consider all the products made by this company knockoffs, and then I'm going to get into what makes these so great. Coming up. So Toy Island is a company that made low-price toys. You could find them in Toys R Us, and I wonder if they made it to Walmart or not. I really don't know because it was the early 90s, based off 80s concepts. They made stuff such as Terminator and RoboCop. They did some other knockoff stuff like G.I. Joe knockoffs, but it really wasn't knockoff. They made their own figures, their own designs, their own sculpts. So not really knockoffs, but sort of copied it in a way, and you can mix your figures in and they would work well because of the same size and same scale. And of course, if you wanted to, you could always display them in the Savage Strike headquarters. That would definitely work. It would be worthwhile. They look good. They're the same scale for the most part, and they have a very similar aesthetic. So with that, that's a great way to display them. So I want to do a quick comparison between these guys and show you the differences and the similarities between them. First off, they're around the same height. They both have some squishy heads, and they look very similar in design. Now you're going to notice that they kind of went with the Series 2 design in the arms. The arms actually have elbow articulation as to where these don't have elbow articulation. So they have made some improvements, or they actually kind of more or less copied what they had going on with the Series 2 figures that all had elbow articulation, which is a vast improvement, really helpful with this toy line. They could of course hit a lower price point and save some money by not having these gimmicks with the backpacks and how they were motorized on the inside with, well, just a spring basically that winds up. And anyway, they saved money with that, but then they added more expense in with actual electronics. So the designs of the figures are completely different, but the one thing that I've noticed that is almost exactly the same as a knockoff, almost knocked off one-to-one, is the gun. And I got to looking at it and I got to thinking, this looks exactly like the same gun, except this gun here is white and this one's painted, so this one actually looks more premium. This looks super cheap. But let's test it and see if it's the same mold. Well, by golly, it is. You can just clip that right on there. They just copied that one-to-one on the gun, and it's really, this is the only gun that looks like they copied one-to-one. The rest are just really super generic guns they came with on their own. When you push the button on any of these, they make a... He says, "Let's go." Then you have some sounds of like a gun. And more gun sounds. Now, all of that is integrated in this figure with two LR44 batteries and a chip. And the 90s were all about the sound chips in toys. And of course, it was not cost effective today to do that as much, especially not the $4 or $5 price point. But of course, this company also was able to hit a low price point simply because they didn't have to pay licensing fees, royalty fees, or produce a cartoon to sell their toys. They just put them on the toy aisle. So this guy's name is Eagle One, and you already heard what he says, his voice clips. That is the actual gun he's supposed to come with, but he also comes with another small pistol. I had to spread them out because I don't have all the weapons and accessories for all these guys. So let's get into the next one. So next up we have Firebird. I think that's this guy's name. And here's the thing, this is the exact same figure, repainted and a new head. So from Eagle One to Firebird, you look, they're all the same. Of course, I don't have a problem with that. That's a way to keep the prices down, keep the costs low. I can live with that. Now he's holding a weapon that's from Rambo. It's a Rambo weapon. It's not part of the toy line. That's the other thing I want to show, is that they can look good holding official Rambo weapons. But let's see what Firebird has to say. So he says, yes, sir. Same gun sounds as the other one. And sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. So this guy is the yes man of the group. So would you clean the toilet? Hey, am I doing a good job on this video? Is this a good toy line? Next up, we have the Wizard. And this guy here has a Rambo gun, and of course I don't have his regular gun. He says, drop your weapon. And he looks like he's in sort of some military fatigues in a way. He has some sort of camouflage with it. And yeah, he's a pretty cool looking figure. And this seems to be his own mold. But maybe they shared parts with this other guy. So next we have Tiger Chief, who is an obvious just repaint of this guy over here, of the Lizard. And so he's really kind of looks like a space kind of dude with this eyepiece he has and the yellow and blue. But he does have that signature gun. I don't know if that's really his gun or not, but it's the one I have him holding. And here he says, I think it's move and clear. The batteries all go in the back on these guys, and that's where the speaker is also. And so for this, it's 2 LR44 batteries. One of them takes 3, but I couldn't get that one to work. So let's look at the next one. So we're going to look at these two next, and this one is Raven, and I don't know that guy's name. And the problem is these are sort of offshoots. They have pretty much the exact same design. So they're sharing the mold as the body and their repaints, as we saw with these other two guys. But, yeah, those two guys. But the problem is they're both designed different. So he has a different back piece. So he has multiple 3 LR44s. Could not get him to work. This guy only has 2 buttons and he doesn't say a phrase. He just does this. So he can like spray them. Which, I mean, that's a cool feature. I'm going to talk a little bit more about what the play feature can do, or really the limits of it here in just a little bit when I get to the video squad. These guys are the Space Attack. And the thing about these guys is that they're the bad guys. And they both have the same body with different heads. And if you look at the head on this guy here, this one looks like a Scout Trooper for Star Wars. Like they really just took the Scout Trooper Star Wars head and copied it so much. That's what it looks like. I'm sure if you put them side by side, they would look. Oh, you'd see the differences. But man, that really does look like a Star Wars helmet in a copy. But the sad thing is, these guys have the same sounds. But I think they're kind of cool, and you know, I got them really cheap. But I don't know if I'd go after all of them. But yeah, that's pretty cool. By far, I think the best thing they did was what's the video squad. And it's really ingenious how they did this. This is really cool. Now, they're a little too big. I got them anyway, like, hey, let me try them out, check them out. I mean, when they're only like $5 each, who cares? But when you look at it, you say, how did they accomplish this? I want to see this in person. So I've got them, and they're cool, but they said that they're 8 inches instead of the 7 inches, but they're pretty tall. They're pretty big. So I'm going to start with this guy here, right? And look at his face. That's his face. He actually talks. Now this is kind of like one of those old handheld games from back in the day, like, you know, the Batman, and there would be the Batman one, and just a little cheap handheld one, or ammo, that you'd get at your checkout stand for, I don't know, a couple bucks. He's actually making the gunshot sounds with his face, but I thought that was the coolest thing. And let's see what the other one does. All right, let's look at this guy. I'm trying to get enough light on it so you can see it really well, but it's pretty scratched up. But anyway, You see that? You remember those old games that really suck? They operate like that. But to incorporate this in the face of a toy, I just thought that was just awesome. I love that. That was really cool. And these guys here are, this whole line of the Video Squad is just repaints with the exact same mold. And I think they made 12 of them. I'm not joking. I think there's 12 of them. They're all the same exact thing with just some different color repaints. I got to thinking, how would kids in the 90s put this play feature to use? So I really hope you'll enjoy this look back at Toy Island, Video Squad, Toy Island, Voice Squad, and maybe you learned something. Maybe you never heard of them till now. Really cool toy line. Lots of fun. Like, subscribe. Peter Hanger out.